Good morning, everyone. Virgo Triad here. It is July 2nd, 2018. Happy Monday to everyone and happy Independence Day week. Hope everybody's going to have a relaxing day or perhaps week. If you could get the whole week off for 4th of July would be wonderful for some people. I know everyone desperately needs it here at the mid part of the year. Usually everybody's getting a little tired and needs a little bit of time off by the time we get halfway into the year like this. Okay, so we are going to be going over questions and answers as we try to do every single month from the previous month. So we're going to be going over questions and answers with regards to the comment section for the month of June this morning. The first one being Tyler D. Durton, which left this comment. You, a dumbass, scared somebody. If they don't exist, then why are they trying to stop us or saying that we breaking the law? If I go to something and take something, money or anything from something that use in my name that was given to me at birth, can I believe by God that's mine? You can let him keep yours. I'm quite sure your family haven't had land and stuff taken from them. I want my 40 acres in a mule and they owe you fake news. Okay, Tyler, just so that you're aware, the video that you placed this on has to do with a frivolous filing fee that the IRS has imposed upon a party who tried to get issued a bond that is legally not theirs. That is called bond fraud. And should you do the same thing by going into the Treasury Direct, putting your information into the Treasury Direct calculator with your Social Security number, pulling up bonds, and then requesting that the Treasury pay out on those bonds, that is called bond fraud. And that is the reason why this person got a $5,000 fine. In addition, if you attempt to try to A4V something, it is also considered fraud. You are attempting to pull funds that do not belong to you out of the Treasury in order to pay for something that legally is yours with funds that legally are not yours. These accounts do not exist. Using your information in the TDA, the Treasury Direct calculator, is not something that works. It has been stated over and over again, not just by this channel, but by many of the gurus that run these scams. It's something that does not work, and therefore you cannot use it to attempt to see whether your name or social security number has these so-called bonds in them. If you attempt to get money from the Treasury through A4V, through trying to cash out bonds, etc., any kind of trust information that you did not purchase or acquire yourself with your own funds that has your name on it and you hold a receipt to, it is considered fraud. Therefore, they are going to warn you with a letter such as this. If you do it again, they will back up their threats of that letter, regardless of what you believe. All right, now let me go on to number 2 with this comment. Number 1, you cannot have 40 acres in a mule. And number 2, you should not assume you know anyone. With regards to your comment about your family haven't had land and stuff taken from them, I'm assuming you're stating that because you believe your ancestors had land taken from them. Believe it or not, so did mine. Regardless, it does not make the TDA accounts real. It does not make the bonds that they claim that are in your name real. These things do not exist. And the bottom line is no one has been able to prove that they do in the last 40 years that this scam has been going on. So, Tyler, if you choose to try this and you get a warning for $5,000 as a frivolous filing through the IRS, I would absolutely suggest that you heed that warning. Okay, next on the list, we have Marcus Johnson, who asked a very good question. It took me a little bit to realize the reasoning behind this question, and I I could be wrong, so let me just say that this might have actually been a real question from Marcus that he might not have actually had any prompting in asking. But I want to make a caveat statement to that because I believe that Mr. Dent has been making claims that the Heather Ann Tucci giraffe and Randall Keith Bean um, uh, case that was in federal court where they were found guilty is fake and some form of a psyop. Um, and the reasoning behind that, so he claims, is because there are no news articles and it wasn't on national news and there, wasn't anybody reporting on it. So I will include with this some links in the description so that you can see where newspaper articles and television appearances were actually done on this case. Now, Marcus Johnson says, what's going on the Ronald, and I'm sorry, Marcus, but it's actually Randall Bean and Heather Ann Tucci federal court case? How come we haven't heard nothing and isn't on the new? I think he means news. Newspaper published, etc. Okay, so sentencing is this month for Heather Ann Tucci Giraffe. I will be reporting on it when it's completed. Until then, there really is nothing further as they're just basically sitting in jail and waiting. There are newspaper articles on this done by the Knoxville News Centennial, which happens to be one of the largest news sources in Knoxville. This was very large news in the state of Tennessee. However, what people fail to realize is that even though this was something that was very big in social media, especially on YouTube last year when they were arrested and even when they were found guilty, it isn't really that big news in terms of national news because people are found guilty of fraud all the time. Hundreds of cases a year are found. So therefore, don't blow this up more than it really is. Now, however, in the state of Tennessee, this was actually big news. There are several news articles following this case on knoxnews.com, which is Knoxville Centennial. There was also a news broadcast that was done on Channel 8, WLVT, which was or WVLT, excuse me, that was out of Tennessee. And I will link those to the description so everyone can take a look at them. So yes, it was on television in the news. Yes, it was many times written about by the main Knoxville newspaper. So therefore, there's plenty of news sources in reality, just so that everyone is aware. And moving on. Okay, and next we have private account. Now, private account actually addressed this to another party, but I'm going to bring it up anyway because I think it's important for everybody to hear once again. Private account says authorship applies to person who created the name. You can copyright your name through a common law claim in the form of an affidavit in legal publication. Okay, let me say this again for the final time to everyone. You cannot legally copyright your name and use it in court to state that you are not allowing anyone else to speak or put in titles or anything else your personal name. It does not work. It is not legal. It will not be recognized, filed or not. Here is the reason why. Copyright is used for things like books, publications, and videos. All right, it protects intellectual property of that sort only. Trademark is what you would be looking for if you wanted to protect a specific name. However, a trademark will only be granted to you through the U.S. Patent Office should your name be one that is largely used in commerce, like Michael Kors, Louis Vuitton, Kim Basinger, people that are widely accepted as individuals that are sponsored or that are fashion designers or athletes or big in Hollywood. Those names can be trademarked for the purpose of services and goods. They are not names that they are not available to the general public or population and having a a YouTube channel or a blog talk radio spot does not qualify you as someone who is large in commerce. Therefore, it does not work. It is never, ever going to be something that can be copywritten. Copyright is very specifically for publications, for videos, for books, this sort of thing. Further, there is no such thing as a common law copyright claim. No such thing. Does not exist, will not be recognized by the courts. All right, so moving on from there. Okay, Rabbit Hop X says, with regards to April LaJune, is she actually advising or teaching people to do this? I hope someone has sent the IRS links to her videos. I'm shocked. Yes, April LaJune is actually advising and or teaching people to try to use UCC1 filings in order to get their status is changed and all these other lies that she's telling, and supposedly able to use A4V as debt charge off. Yes, that is exactly what she is doing. As far as information being forwarded on to the IRS or anything of that sort, that is something that many of her clients have come over and have informed us that they have done, along with filing with the Attorney General in the state of Colorado. I understand also many have filed with the Attorney General within the state of New Mexico now, and it is something that many have filed with the IRS, along with several other places that I have been informed of, just so that you are aware. Okay, here we have William Forrest wrote, the all caps name is what this bleeping worthless government did to make you pay taxes on payroll. But see, there is no law saying you have to pay taxes on a wage. William Forrest, incorrect. Number one, the all caps name has nothing to do with taxes or anything else for that matter. As a matter of fact, over 35% of the U.S. population has a birth certificate or certificate of live birth that have no all caps names at all. And I have tried to inform you in the past that you have been lied to. With regards to you making the statement that there is no law on taxes on a wage, that is something that I have provided many links to in addition in the past to prove that that is not true. As a matter of fact, I had a debate with someone who believed that being the case several months ago by email. And they, as a matter of fact, actually came back and said, yes, it is true on taxes. And then their secondary argument was on property taxes and so on and so forth. They had a misunderstanding of what the law reads. So I am informing you that if you have questions with regards to this, the best thing for you to do is to look up the frivolous tax return arguments within the IRS publications of 2017. You're going to see that this argument is in there, and every single law that pertains to paying taxes on a wage, if you are not tax exempt, and there are very specific regulations for being tax exempt, you can't just proclaim yourself tax exempt by checking a box on your W-2 form. You have to actually line up with what these regulations are in order to legally be tax exempt. But if you are not tax exempt, then these taxes on wages do apply to you. And by reading the publication thoroughly, you will understand that that is the case. Okay, so finally, we are going to go with this final comment, which is done by Atrexis Lives. And his statement is that April LaJune actually didn't block him, but deleted his comment after he made the statement that you cannot copyright your own name, that there is no legal truth to that whatsoever. What April did was come back and cite case law, destroying her own claim. United States versus Orrego, and Pierce L. Bay versus Cooper were two that she used apparently. And I'm going to link those cases to the description so you guys can read them for yourself. It is embarrassing for, I would think, for Miss LaJune to have put up case law that destroys her own claim, but apparently she felt that that was a good idea. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Each one of these make it blatantly clear that the claims made with regards to copyrighting your own name are frivolous and would not work in court. All right, everyone. I hope that everybody has a wonderful day. We're going to have an interesting week. I will be taking Wednesday off for Independence Day. However, during this week, we will have additional information on coming up on things like these common law courts, where they started from, why they are not real, why they're not recognized by the country, and what the world would actually look like if these common law courts were to take over. All right, everyone, I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.